Hello, my name's Wilson Cole, and I want to welcome you to this edition of Marketing Minutes. Today I want to talk to you about split testing. To me, this is an overlooked way to improve ROI, and it's one of the simplest things that you can do to see if your marketing is working and improve upon that marketing, regardless if it's outbound sales calls, whether it's a email marketing campaign, or whether it's a print media advertisement, or if it's a trade show. You know, the theory behind split marketing is that you run two ads, you make two calls using two separate scripts, and you see which one pulls better. It's a relatively easy process. It sounds a little bit more complicated than it is, but it can give you amazing results, absolutely astounding results, with the difference that just a little tweak here or a little tweak there could do with any of your marketing. For instance, if you're making an outbound call, let's say that you make 100 calls, you get 3 leads, and one of those leads over 90 days becomes a client. Well, if you make a change to your sales script on your outbound calls and you wind up getting, let's say, 5 leads, and you improve your follow-up and your email a little bit, and you get, let's say, 3 of those to become clients, that's a 300% increase, and by theory, that should increase revenues by 300% with that one simple technique. The same thing works true with an email marketing campaign, as by theory you would send out to 2 separate lists. Maybe you would change subtle changes. Maybe it would be the subject from one email to the next. You know, we made a very small change in one of our emails where we were getting about a 15% click-through rate. We wound up jumping to a 36% click rate just by changing the subject in the email. The same thing is true with print advertising. You know, one thing that you can do is run one ad that basically says, hey, you know, here's our special offer, you know, here's our lead magnet, call for a free report, call for a free demo, or something along those lines, and then do a totally different offer, maybe with a different price point, to see which lead pulls better. You know, the interesting thing that we have found is that price doesn't necessarily help if it's lower. Sometimes we found it's just the opposite. Sometimes a higher price actually pulls better than the lower price. You can check with different software. If you're using different email broadcast, you can run the test, and they'll actually run side-by-side tests. One of the easiest ways to do it on some of your sales literature and print media, you can either, of course, use websites, but you can also use 2 different 800 numbers. At the end of the month, you get in your Sprint or your AT&T bill, you take a look, and one had 10 calls, one had 5. There's also a company out there that we're not affiliated with, but we use internally, called CallRail, and it will actually tell you which lead came in from what marketing device. You know, we use one for trade shows, we use one for different emails, we use one for the magazine, so whenever we get a call, we know exactly where that lead came from, and if we're investing X in a particular market, in a particular segment that has given us maybe a higher ROI, we may wind up increasing the money that we're spending in that association versus some of the others. So it's just a really neat way to keep control over your ROI. It's very simple. It's not something that has to be done very complex. It can be just as simple as, and I didn't like any of it.